If Bronny wants to extend his game beyond just being a catch and shoot player, a spot up player, or if he just wants to have more ways to score as a spot up player, and that's what it really is, he's gonna have to be able to make reads like this, right? Dalton connect, boom, gets here, gets it to a handoff, right there and then that's the time for you to get your bucket. That's the time for you to get your bucket. Regardless if this is a set where you throw the ball back to the top and they get a ball screen, you've got to always look for this. Because when a defender goes under on a handoff, you could utilize this space that you have right here to be able to hide behind your teammate and then be able to get your shot off. Where all this really takes as a player, it doesn't really take more skill. It just takes the ability to understand the read. Because it's a shot just as simple as a regular catch and shoot, but you just have to prepare yourself mentally for that read. And so if Bronny's just able to make these recognitions, boom, another 3 to 6 points possibly per game. Remember that play I showed y'all before about Bronny being able to make reads when defenders go underneath screens and hiding behind and taking those shots? Now this is going to be another very similar situation. You got a handoff coming over here towards the top of the key, and he's able to make the reads necessary for him to get down here and make a layup, because it was just one thing that got him that layup, right? And this is a polar opposite of what I showed y'all before. The defender he has on him was prepared for that screen. He stepped up into his body. He chased over, right? Which shows you that Bronny knows the read when defenders go over, but he doesn't know what to do when defenders go under. So this is just a mental thing. You just have to drill this in mentally, so then once you see this, all right, boom, I take this shot. You have to get into your workouts, be able to visualize these situations, feel that feeling when you get when a defender decides to break apart from you, or they start with that gap. You get off, you make that little read from your peripheral, you hide right back behind the screen from where you came from, right? This is just something mentally that Bronny could add in like that could be able to get him more points like that. Another way as to which Bronny could be able to score more by still taking shots that are extremely simple and just by making reads, right? So you got Dalton connect, handoff over here at the top. And now pay attention to what happens when Dalton connect attacks to the strong side corner. Bronny's defender hops in. And now pay attention to Bronny's angling though, right? Because since he is not in the deep corner, his defender could be able to split vision and be able to see ball and Bronny. So if Bronny even wanted to go and make this backdoor cut along this baseline, he could probably be able to catch on to that, right? But if Bronny decides to fill into this corner, stay into this deep corner, and then as Dalton Connect gets this handoff and gets left, once he steps in, you go make that cut, he could get it easy too, like that. He's getting easy buckets now. But it just boils down to his ability to see this in real time and then just do what he needs to. This is a mental way to score, not a physical, because you're going to end up getting a layup on the weak side. And if not, help comes over, kick to the corner or to the wing. Easy basketball. You just got to prepare yourself mentally. And now at this point, this is where Bronny could even learn from his competition, right? You could even learn from your competition, because Bronny, pay attention, he's on his weak side. He's guarding Jordan Ford, right? And so if you kind of just look back at how Jordan Ford was able to get his 17 this game, average 16 in the G League, and then even be able to be in the mix of a two-way deal, of a full-on contract each year, having some games with the Kings. Not the greatest player in the world, of course, but nonetheless, he's a pro, right? Nonetheless, he's a pro. He's there for a reason. And so pay attention to how he's going to be able to exploit this. As he dribbles to this right side, forward, boom, backdoor. The timing of the backdoor is most important. The timing of the backdoor, notice. Because the dribble happens, Bronny gets engaged, he gets towards this line and not in between his defender and the rim. Boom, backdoor along the baseline. Bronny gets a hand on that because it was a bad pass, but regardless, Ford gets the ball right back. Boom, burns him on it, right? And I also want you to understand the concept of players defending the corner and why it's important for you to actually get as deep to the corner as possible. Because when you got a player who's playing help from this corner, their responsibility is to plug off some of those lanes. Maybe not to fully help, but at least be able to dig. And now if you get yourself in a situation where this defender decides to drop all the way back to the baseline, they're not plugging off any lanes, which is why they play up. They play higher from the player who's in the deep corner. And so now you have access to be able to get out of their vision and then get into a back door. if you get deep corner. And if they decide to follow you all the way down to that baseline, easy attacks towards that corner, right? And so it's now the responsibility of this player to be able to just time these dribble handoffs and be able to make these reads to where once this player is just falling asleep and they're not even able to recognize that, or they decide to get engaged in that lane, they go and make that back door. And so literally just by being a spot up player, if you know how to recognize those backdoor reads, you literally don't have to put any work in to be able to get a shot off, like it is a step back or a hezzy pull up where you have to rep it out thousands and thousands and thousands of times. You already know how to make a layup. If you're a high school guard, stop doing this. Watch Bronny. When someone gets this in transition and they're about to get out, watch Bronny run, right? He's jogging along the sideline, and what ends up happening, if this player does not want to shoot this, he doesn't have any options on this left side because Bronny did not run hard enough. The reason Bronny has to run hard is because he has another guard coming from behind him. And so what's going to end up occurring if Bronny does decide to run hard and get down to this corner, you have this player who's going to trail on this wing, and then you have yourself in this corner. And you have one player on this side to guard one who would be on the wing and another one who will be on the corner. That only happens if you decide to run hard. There's no reason why the person with the ball runs the absolute fastest. That makes no sense. Absolutely no sense. So both the player who's going to run and trail the wing, the player who's going to run deep corner, you have to literally sprint. You have to sprint like your lungs out, like literally that fast, because the quality of looks you're going to be able to get by stretching out the defense so early into the shot clock is going to be such a great look, right? You're going to have easy offense like this, but it just boils down to you running hard and not being concerned about, oh, I'm going to be tired if I run that fast. Yeah, if I run too fast, I'm going to be a little tired. If I go that fast on sprint, I'm be too tired. Get conditioned. Get conditioned. It's that simple. That's all you got to do. As a matter of fact, these plays will be a negative in the box score despite the number of gems and the keys that are in this play that could help someone play better, right? And so watch Bronny, right? Pay attention. This is how you could easily attack an ISO. Bronny gets it, immediately puts the ball down. Can't do that because you got to allow space to develop. And now when Bronny slows down, all right, I got one here, strong side corner. I got another one to my left side. I pick a way I want to go. I attack hard to this left, pull in help, I kick. Play is not over. Isolation is not the play. Bronny, after that, relocates back to the top of the key, open three from the top, and that's how you're able to create good looks from isolation, despite the fact he missed that. Might be in his head a little too much, might be trying to shoot a little careful, might be scared to shoot a little bit, but anytime you see those short misses, just stop being scared and actually release the ball. Like flick your wrist fully, snap your elbow, all that, and stop worrying about, oh, am I going to make it or am I going to miss it? Just shoot the shit. Bronny's going to lift up from this corner because when this roll happens, his man steps in, he lifts up to that wing. So then that closeout is longer, like I said before, right? But I just wanted to highlight that for what you're going to see on this next play because this is a situation as to which Bronny must get himself in the lab for it and prepare for it because you're going to see a lot of these pick and rolls of Bron, AD, whoever it might be, or anytime you're just sitting in the corner and there's a pick and roll comes to your side, strong side corner, and then you got to make this lift up and you got to see what type of moves and what type of layers you could add to this. And so you see him already catch, jab, get into that pull back into that midi. He catches here, short close, hesitates for a second, pulls that over the top. And so when it comes down to this shot, the layers that he could have with this, the layers, especially when it comes down to that catch and shoot shot. First and foremost, you already seen that pull back into that midi. Next, catch, read, triple threat shot like I showed y'all at the top of this. Showing y'all how as a guard, if you add that triple threat shot in, when you read that gap, when you read that space that you have between you and your defender, and then you get into that shot over the top, it also translates to the same exact scenario. This is a very diverse look to where off so many different actions, so many different times and places, you could just make that stare down, ball in your pocket, shot over the top, triple threat, right? And so that's something you could add into this right here. Now on top of that look right there, the stare down shot, catch immediately, read it, shot, quick. Boom, you get your pump fakes in, reload, shot. Catch, pump fake, attack, catch, jab, get into the paint. So many things you could do off of this scenario. And so he's got to make sure he reserves times in his workout so that he could be able to say, all right, I know I'm going to see this a shit ton. I know I'm going to be in a scenario more times than a lot of other actions. I need to really visualize what it looks like to be here and visualize how my defender looks like when they're guarding me in these situations, because that's what's going to trigger my response, right? I'm going to react according to how they act to this action that we're doing. And so he's got to make sure that visualization is on point, because he may not get too many on-court reps, right? May not get too many live reps going 5-on-5, playing a real game. So this is where that visualization in the individual workouts or the 2-person, 3-person workouts come in, so that once you get into the game, you're prepared for what you're about to do. Instead of being somebody who's sitting back, relaxing, just doing these basic looks all damn day, from the start to the finish of the workout, he's got to make sure that visualization is there. If he's able to visualize and then implement, and he is ultimately going to be prepared for what he's going to see, because all those other things he probably really already got, right? It just boils down to that preparation, that visualization. If he does that, these looks are about to start going down, because he's already knowing what he's going to get before he even gets them. You got Bronny in this weak side corner. His defender is the weak side tag, right? So now pay attention to what's going to happen with this roll. Empty corner, he's going to step into this nail. Bronny's going to try to cut, but you really should have had a great look, right? But how could that great look have occurred? Understanding that 33 is the tag man for the roll that's going to happen with 14, if you want to be able to score in this scenario, Bronny can't be the one to cut over here on this baseline, because now you took away the next person who's on that wing, which is Dalton Connect. What must happen in this scenario? Bronny, you don't cut. Dalton Connect, you cut. Because if Connect cuts and then Bronny stays on the outside, he's going to pull in 37 into the paint. 33 is going to stay because he's already tagging from that roll. And now what happens is that the next person who wants to rotate to Bronny, who's on the outside, is Buddy over here at the top of the key. He's not getting there. He's not getting there. This is way too far. And so in order for this set to be maximized, this cut happens. Bronny on the outside. Bronny even lifts up. Boom. You kick that right to the wing. That's a bucket.